Hey guys, this is Ankit and welcome to the Terraform GCP task series. We are doing a list of basic tasks to get ourselves familiar with using Terraform for GCP. We are following the DevOps Engineer and SRE learning path, also available at cloudskillsboost.google/paths. You can always refer to my repository, thecloudterminal01/learn-devops to get more details. For today's task, we have the following objectives. First, we'll understand how to use variables and output values in Terraform. We will observe how Terraform handles implicit dependencies, how we can create explicit resource dependency. Finally, we will view the dependency graph. The total amount of time we will be spending will be around 10 to 13 minutes. So let's begin. Let's start with our first subtask. We will check the Terraform version on GCP console. We are running 1.3.6, which is same as our version stack. Let's create a folder tf-infra and move to that folder. I've already opened the editor, so we'll be running the commands inside the editor. Now let's create a provider.tf file. And we'll paste the contents. Over here we are specifying that the region is US East 1 and zone as US East 1B. Let's run Terraform init now. I'll switch to the previous tab. Also ensure that you are adding this project ID in provider.tf file. You can get the project ID by running this particular command in Google Cloud Console, Cloud Shell. At the time of recording this video, I did not add this project ID and I went through all the subtasks. So apparently you can go through all the subtasks without adding the project ID and you will not face any errors. However, you should specify the project ID in order to use any of the Google Cloud provider features. Now let's move on to our next subtask to view implicit resource dependency. To demonstrate how Terraform infers an implicit dependency, we will assign a static IP address to a VM instance. So let's first create a VM instance. And let's add the following code to the VM instance. Over here we are specifying that I want to create a Google Compute instance, and these are the properties of the instance. The name, zone and machine type is specified by these variables, and it should be in default network. We have not yet created a variables.tf file, so let's first create that file now. And let's add the following contents. Now let's say we want to view the internal IP address of the created instance, or we want to view the URI of the created instance. In order to view those properties, we have to create an outputs.tf file. I've already created this file, so let's move on to the file and add the following contents. In our instance.tf file, our instance still does not have a static IP address. So let's move back and create another resource, static IP address. Let me add it over here. So we want to create a resource Google Compute address, and this will be the static IP address of our instance. Now let's update the network interface configuration with this static IP address. So I'll add this line to our network interface. Now let's head over to the first tab and let's run Terraform init again. Let's run Terraform plan. The instance name should be my instance, and the zone should be US East 1B. Over here we are trying to create two resources. The first one is static IP address, and the second one is VM instance. So let's run Terraform apply now. I will give yes. Observe that Terraform automatically handles implicit dependency by creating the static IP address first. Only after the static IP address is created, it starts creating the VM instance, because it needs to assign that static IP address to the VM instance. Let's wait for this to complete. Terraform apply is complete, so let's move to Compute Engine VM instances and check our newly created instance. So our instance, my instance, is created and it has been assigned an external IP address as well. This should be the static IP address. In order to validate this, let's move to VPC networks. Let's move to IP addresses. And over here we can see that this is the external IP address and the IP address is static. Now this basically explains how Terraform automatically handles implicit dependencies. Let's move on to our next subtask in order to understand how we can handle explicit dependencies in Terraform. We will create a file exp.tf. In that file we will have two resources, Google Compute instance and Google Storage bucket. We basically want to create the Google Compute instance only after the storage bucket is created, so we will add this depends on property to the instance. So let me copy this code snippet and add it to the exp.tf file which I've already created. We also have to give a unique bucket name to our bucket, so I will add some random string. Let's go back over here, run Terraform init. Let's run Terraform plan. Instance name should be my instance. Zone should be US East 1P. So we are again creating two resources, one instance and the other one is bucket. Let's run Terraform apply. As you can see, it's creating the bucket first, and only after the bucket is created, it's starting to create the instance. Let's wait for the changes to complete. Our changes are complete. Let's go back to VM instances and check our instance. So again, our instance, my instance 2, is created. This is the name of the instance that we gave over here. Also, let's see the IP address that has been assigned to this new instance. This should be an ephemeral IP address. So I'll go back to VPC network and again refresh. And as you can see, this is an ephemeral IP address. Let's go and check whether our bucket is created or not. So our bucket is also created. Now let's run Terraform graph command to get a dependency graph for our infrastructure. So graph.svg is created. Let's move to the next tab and check out the file. This is the dependency graph, and this completes all of our subtasks as well. That's all for today. See you in the next video.